take a seat at the kids' table with us as we load up our plates with the top 5 appetizers, side dishes, and desserts for this very special Thanksgiving episode. Stay with us. You might get the wishbone.
Get ready for the 3324 podcast, where lifelong friends Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber share their love of all things music and movies. Dean has directed short films and is a music trivia buff. And Eric, trained in audio engineering, brings his extensive knowledge of music and film to the conversation as they discuss, debate, and celebrate their favorite albums, films, and much more.
Welcome, friends, to the 3324 podcast. Eric, Thanksgiving edition. We're doing something different.
This time about food.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about music and movies. We're not going to suggest any Thanksgiving music. I don't know that there is.
Well, food is part of life, isn't it?
Food is part of life.
It's part of our lives. So,
and we're not going to be talking about any movies either. So this is a departure for us.
Yeah,
something different. We're going to try.
Well, not in our outside lives. I mean, food has always been a big deal for us growing up. So yeah, it fits right in. Yeah,
we need to survive. But as far as our normal formatting goes, we thought it would be fun to do a top 5, but not our traditional top 5. I thought it'd be fun to assemble Thanksgiving plates. So we got some guests to help us out. We need a name for this trio. Not the Three Musketeers. You know, it's got to be something else.
Yeah, well,
know what?
Come up with something.
Not the Three Stooges either. That's not.
Three Amigos.
Our mission.
Three Amigos. I don't know.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure.
That's a tough one.
We got Three's
Company.
I did that one. I made that reference already. We did that reference.
That's a good one. The spinoff.
Oh, by the way, the trio that we're speaking of. Let's reintroduce our very special guests for this.
Okay.
For this episode,
attorney at law Nick Leshi,
who's dressed.
I came over
dressed to the occasion. It's Thanksgiving. No, it's fine.
He is dressed to prosecute another episode.
He's making us all look bad.
Thank you, Nick Leshi, as always. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. It's great to have Nick Leshi at the kids table with us.
Yes.
The kids table. The more kids that are at the table, the more fun it is. Next up at the kids table is Christy Cuomo. Officially, I'm introducing you.
Oh.
Christy Cuomo, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Always a pleasure.
There's your introduction.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. That's it. Okay.
What do you?
And the adult at the table, Mr. Sean Grady.
Why does Sean get to be the adult?
Because Sean is the most mature out of this bunch.
He really is.
He really is.
Sean
is the most.
He's got it all together.
I look at him, and when I see like the faces he makes, sometimes I'm like, oh no. Just the disdain in his face. Sometimes when I say things, I'm like, oh,
I don't think it's disdain. I think it's just.
I let Sean down again.
You mean like when he found out you never saw Godfather?
Yeah, I have a screenshot of that face that he made. I have it over here.
Yeah,
that
should be a meme.
The face he made, and I'm like, oh man, I can't.
The disbelief in his eyes.
Yeah, he's like, you didn't see it.
The disappointment.
Dejection. Yeah.
So
I had a worse face when Dean revealed that to me, and that was in person too. We were in the car, and he said, "I never saw Godfather." I'm like, "Are you?"
I hope you weren't driving, Eric.
Yeah, you would have went off the road.
I just looked straight. I just looked straight as I was driving when I said it. Not gonna make eye contact.
That could be a good episode, like the movies, the classic movies that we haven't seen,
that we've never seen.
That's a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
The confessional, we'll call it.
I don't know if any of us will top Godfather though.
No.
Wow. Okay. Thanks.
Why didn't you?
The episode, Nick. Thanks. There is another episode in the can. We're done.
Yeah. It's a 2-for-1, a special 2-for-1.
You get right to the point with some of these
5-second episode right there. Boom. The idea popped out and we did it. And there you go. That was it. Number one.
Episode 1 of the 5-second podcast. So what we're doing today, this is going to be a lot of fun. Is I thought it would be fun to do a top 5, but for us to construct our Thanksgiving plate, and hopefully that'll lead to some fun stories or just find out where everybody's at during this time of year. Thanksgiving is the kind of the in-betweener. Yeah, it gets lost in the shuffle as it really does.
It's so undervalued, underrated, I think.
Yeah, because you've got Halloween, and then the Christmas stuff starts coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right? In November, and Thanksgiving is kind of like, well, what about me? You know, like, you know, there's always that rush. And then of course the day after Thanksgiving is known as Black Friday. That's when the selling season starts. People get crazy. But it seems like Christmas is kind of encroaching and pushing further back into November. Mm-hmm. Is that a fair statement, Nick?
I think almost October sometimes too, right? I mean, I mean, Christmas in July, you hear people, you know, hyping that up as well. So, I mean, I'm sure some vendors and sellers would love to have Christmas year round because, you know, get people to shop. But I like to have the seasons. I like to have Halloween, like to have Thanksgiving, and then we'll jump into Christmas.
Yeah, you want to have that separation. The reason why they call it Black Friday is because that's when the retailers get out of the red and into the black. They actually start turning a profit that late in the year. So there is actually some trivia behind that. So, but there's actually there's a Halloween lights, right? It's the purple and orange. Like you see people now decorating for Halloween. People just used to they put a pumpkin up.
Right.
You know, they put a paper pumpkin on the door or one of those jack-o'-lantern guys with the segmented arms. Now you're seeing people go crazy during October.
Blow ups.
With the giant skeletons on the lawns. Mm-hmm. It's just become like this whole thing. And then they take those down. Then they put up the inflatable turkeys and the pilgrims and all that kind of stuff. And then that comes down. And then they go right into Christmas. But I think, Eric, you're right. It's kind of Thanksgiving's kind of getting a little bit of a gloss over.
Well, at Thanksgiving, and people all they care about is Black Friday. You know, stores have before the pandemic. I mean, those few years, they were opening stores on Thanksgiving Day. You know, you eat your dinner and then you go, we got to let's finish dinner and get out of the house so we can get on that line. 6 o'clock at night, they're opening the doors to stores. That's ridiculous. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, a lot of retailers have pulled that back since the pandemic. They're like, you know, they were able to take time and kind of assess.
Because I think the pandemic found the value of family,
of life,
of being together again, and being being so isolated. But all those values came back, and what's really important, and people kind of got a new sense of we needed to be readjusted. I think
a little reset.
I'm sure there were more, but Costco's famous, like they're famous for. They would not be open on holidays. His employees off, you know, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't be shopping on Thanksgiving or that's not what these holidays are about.
Even sports retailer REI is closed on Black Friday now. They're like, we want our team members to be out, to go outside and enjoy. So there is a little bit of the turning of the tide away from the consumerism and back into the simplicity of just enjoying the holidays, right? And just kind of spending that time. And the sales aren't going anywhere.
But it shouldn't be about shopping anyway. That's not that's not the intention of the holiday. It should just be about being with your family, you know, eating the foods that you eat for those holidays and just enjoying that downtime. Who wants to go shopping? Like people would wake up even I mean when I was younger, my ex-sister-in-law and my mother and them, they'd go out at like 5 a.m. Like they're like, do you want to go? I'm like, no.
Has anybody here been online at that early in the morning? I admit that I have back in the day.
Absolutely not.
No. I needed like a GPS or something from Staples. It was like,
but do you find deals for what you're looking for, or do they introduce products that you're like, oh, I didn't see that, and that looks like a good deal. Let me buy that. Like I feel like that's what it is. You know,
they would have something like the GPS I wanted did only be 5. Right. So if I got online and there's 20 people, I have to hope that there's 4 in there that want the GPS and the other people want whatever other thing they want. So I can at least get one of those. So, but nowadays with the advent of Amazon and online shopping, you don't need to do that, and you get great prices throughout the year anyway. So,
well, let's face it, even Halloween, right, is like that now. That's starting to become a big retail thing. Costumes, cosplay, candy, you know, all the stores like they're, you know, the Spirit Halloween. There are various locations all over the place. People, you know, hiring people to work there. And that's becoming a thing now where people are lining the store to get their costumes.
But it's capitalism. It's making every holiday into a Hallmark holiday. Like,
but it boosts the economy. So.
I mean, even if you look, and I know we're off topic already, but even if you look at does my mother like text me the day after apparently National Daughters Day, and she's like, I'm sorry, I forgot to. I'm like, what is National Daughters Day? What does that even mean?
Here's okay.
Another gift.
My when I was young, I don't know if my mother or something said, oh, you don't get me nothing for Mother's Day or something like that. I said, there's actually a Children's Day. I said, when that gets recognized, I will reciprocate.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Is that what your mother did to you after you said that?
Last time I ever said that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Went out and got a gift.
I think I tried something similar to that, and it's like, and my mother's response was, "Every day is Children's Day."
Yeah, of course.
So yeah,
because we're alive.
No doubt.
So
that's right.
Let's get to the table. Our podcast family is going to be sitting at the table today.
Our Friendsgiving.
And I thought it would be great we've got some parameters, as always with our top 5. We need parameters. We need rules. We need guidelines, so it doesn't get off the rails. So each member, each guest was tasked with choosing one appetizer, 2 of their favorite side dishes, and 2 desserts. Now, here's the one thing I said. I said turkey doesn't count, obviously, because and if you're not a turkey, if you're a vegetarian, whatever your main thing is, lentil loaf, ham, whatever it is, that doesn't count. But I did not ask everybody should we count mashed potatoes and stuffing? Should that be excluded as well? Because those are kind of staples.
That's on my list.
No,
It's on
they
my
should
list.
not.
Okay,
they should certainly not.
It's a side.
meaning excluded from the list. So they are
Nope.
okay. There.
All right, well, this
I know why you would do that, because they're staples.
You asked for our favorites.
Yes.
And
because for me,
it
it literally would be turkey stuffing and mashed potatoes. That's all's on my plate. So I eliminated those 2 for myself, because otherwise it would be pretty boring. Because I'm like that guy. I don't want anything else touching anything on my plate.
Mm-hmm.
I want those 3 items in bulk.
You have the 3. You have the 3 separate.
I get what you're saying, but there are various types, and we'll get to that. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
All righty. So let's start here. Do you Nick? Do you customarily host Thanksgiving, or do you go?
I go
somewhere.
I go all the time. I have a huge family, so we used to go we would alternate my parents' house, my aunt's house, my cousin's house. And now that, my sisters are all married and they have kids, we used to do that. But now that we're married, we go to my in-laws. So it was really weird during the lockdown. For the very first time, my wife and my kids and I ordered from a restaurant, and it was actually nice. It was just kind of intimate, just the 4 of us. So I thought that was really cool. But having a big family, that's always been a tradition. Just, food has always brought us all together, and going to different, then we would do Christmas Eve at somebody else's house. So I always thought that was part of it, just being around people you love, and then the food, So
Sean, what about you?
I go, but I make something and bring it. So we'll get it. I'm sure we'll get it.
Would it be a tin of butter cookies?
I got that. You got me covered this year. Okay. Absolutely. No, but I said I make some. I have a job.
Okay.
So when I go to Thanksgiving,
do you make the same thing each time?
Yes.
Do you have like a go-to? Like, I'm going to make the.
Yes.
What is it?
What is it? I make the mashed potatoes.
Okay. So now,
it's a big task.
It's a big task, and I am a connoisseur.
Okay.
Of mashed potatoes. So I've got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
Are yours whipped to a creamy deliciousness, or are there lumps like little rocks that you have to chew through?
I rice, I boil, I rice, and I hand mash those things. So the ricing takes care of the lumps that you worry about. And
then milk and butter?
Milk and butter.
Salt,
and I try to sneak in a little pepper.
No, you just lost me.
A little bit of pepper.
A little bit of pepper.
Some people like the lumps.
No, I don't like the lumps.
Like home style, just like.
Well, there's mashed potatoes, and then there's mashed potatoes.
I use actually a hand blender, like the electric blender.
So do I.
And it comes out like whipped.
Do you rice your potatoes first?
I have a very interesting.
Me too, because I once I'm done boiling the potatoes, I throw them in the hand mixer that you use to like make cake batter.
Yep,
it just kills everything, just destroys it. Christy, is there a specialty that you would make for Thanksgiving, or are you an attendee?
Well, I was basing all of my Thanksgiving Day answers on more of my childhood Thanksgiving, and so I would go to my Nanny and Papa Jack's house, which is my mother's parents. I was too young to make anything. I now make Thanksgiving, but all of my answers will be based on that because it's my fond memories of Thanksgiving.
Good. Eric?
Yeah, for the record, I don't cook
Thanksgiving
at all.
I mean,
nothing.
I can make mashed potatoes from a box, but
like Hungry Jack.
Look, I'm not a cook.
Yeah,
I am approaching this as a guest at the table.
You know what, Nick? You're dressed like someone that's not a cook.
Actually, he's the butler.
Please watch us on YouTube. You'll get all these references. Eric, Thanksgiving at the Cooper household.
In the Cooper household, yeah. Typically, it's usually we go to my parents. They live in the Poconos, so they. But since we moved to Maryland, actually, let me take that back. When I was living in Florida, I would make pretty much the whole meal. Because Kelly's mom, God bless her, she was, she made the turkey. And we used to have deep fried turkey. I don't know if you guys ever had that.
Never had it.
I've heard about it.
I would love to try it.
Because
Kelly's dad had one of those big oil, the deep fryers outside, and with peanut oil, you drop it in. The skin is so crispy, but it's so juicy. It's delicious.
Why peanut oil?
I think that's
because it's
just
the
less
flavor.
trans fats and everything too. Yeah,
but it's so good. It really comes out really. I was skeptical myself. Yeah, but man, and it takes obviously less time too than waiting half the day to get the bird done. But I would traditionally make a lot of the sides, and and of course I use a lot of my mom's recipes and my grandmother's recipes too. So. But now I'm primarily if I'm making dinner here, I make the whole meal. So but I take a lot of shortcuts.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I much like Nick, I am an attendee. I show up. My job is to reduce the amount of leftovers.
Okay.
That are there. My job is not to cook, but mine is I am the recycler. So it is to make sure that those, that if there's one scoop of mashed potatoes left, I got it. I'll take it. A little bit of stuffing. Yeah. Hand it over. Until recently, and then, when you're young, it's kind of like, you kind of show up, you just kind of show up and, let all the adults do all the cooking, the slaving, the sweating, and then you eat, and then you go sit down on the couch. So, let's get to the first course then. Okay. Everyone was supposed to select one appetizer from their past, present, or Thanksgiving future. Sean, what's your favorite appetizer?
My favorite appetizer? Well,
on Thanksgiving Day. What goes on the plate what's that first course you're grabbing?
Well, here's as far as like I don't know if we have appetizers as so much. We put out like a couple things on the people come in a couple picking
before the turkey.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
Those are appetizers.
Yeah, but when I tell you my appetizer,
the word for that is called an appetizer.
Yeah, but it's not like you're not sitting at the table getting served an appetizer.
Beforehand. Sure, before the turkey. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good night, everybody. I'll see you later.
Sean's going to wait online for Billy Joel right now, even though the show's in March.
Exactly. No, because I'm thinking you sit down, you have something at the table. Like this is like something on my lap, like while watching the football game. Like I'm not, like, so we didn't really like. There's maybe a couple of hot things, but I'm grabbing. I know it's going to sound like I'm grabbing some good cheese. Like that's
there you go.
Cheese and some Ritz, and then like because if I eat too much, I'm focused on like the bird and the meal. Like so, I'm not gonna get too involved. So keep it simple, like some chips, some crackers, and cheese.
Yeah, so cheese like a cheese board. They would have
exactly.
A couple things chopped
some
up.
Good right. Like the jalapeno and the cheese, and then you got little chunks of Swiss, little chunks of cheddar. Maybe if you're lucky, a little Parmesan. Like
there you go.
Good cheese and some crackers. And
Sean is taking the practical way of trying to meter it out.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is a war of attrition.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to understand that it's you versus the rest of the food. and it's how much can you put your body through in one day.
Correct.
What?
And still be able to stand up at the end and walk out.
Not at all what it's no.
So, Christy,
she disagrees, Dean.
What kind of appetizers, or as Sean would call it, pre-turkey food?
Pre-turkey food, yeah.
Do you partake in?
So much like Sean, I'm not a big appetizer person. Even in my regular meals that I make now, when people come over, I'm always told you have to have appetizers, and I'm like, yeah, I'll put out some chips and hummus. Like, I don't know what you want.
Right.
But when I was a kid,
it's called Thanksgiving alone.
When I was a kid, Nanny used to do celery with cream cheese on it and paprika. So I'm going with that as
a classic.
And that was what would be out before the turkey came out to carve, and we would be vultures because there was bacon on it.
Cool.
But it was celery with cream cheese and paprika. That's my appetizer.
Can't go wrong with that with a couple of olives on the side. Eric.
Pre-gaming.
What do you pre-game?
I'm with Sean. It's typically either like a vegetable platter with some dip, or carrots, celery, broccoli, like just sort of raw vegetables with with some dip, or cheese and crackers. But back in the day, when I was a kid, in our household in Dobbs Ferry, we didn't eat. We never ate before 5 o'clock. So, I mean, I remember Dean and our friend Johnny used to call me on Thanksgiving Day. Hey, what are you doing? Let's hang out tonight. Because everybody's like wrapping up, and it's like, I didn't even eat yet. And they're like, what the fuck? You didn't eat yet? Like, what the? It's like, it's fucking 7, 8 o'clock at night, and we still haven't eaten. That's the way it was. Because
like, come on.
My mom was such a perfectionist. Everything had to be. My grandmother would make homemade chicken soup.
Nice.
Nice big pot of chicken soup, and that's what we had for lunch. That was our appetizer. That was our big, and that in itself is a meal.
Because that's very filling.
Yeah, it's very filling, but it's it hit the spot. And during the day when you're watching March of the Wooden Soldiers or King Kong or whatever it was on TV, come on down for the chicken soup, and that was the first part that officially became the first part of the meal. And I have to say I've never tried it myself, and when my grandmother passed, sadly, she it's never been that tradition didn't carry on. My mom never makes it, but I think I'd like to try it one day. Yeah,
give it a go.
So
do you have the recipe?
Yeah. I do. My mom has it, and I probably get it from her, but she's it's great.
Cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, did you lose the recipe for ice? I can give it to you.
Listen.
Oh, okay.
Crackers and cheese and all this other stuff. That's great. But for Thanksgiving, I said, I have a huge family. It was the appetizers that were felt like the main course. It was like one thing after another, because you had a lot of people coming. So they all had to munch on stuff. So I honestly love the appetizer portion more so than the entree. It's like when you go to a wedding and it's like the cocktail hour where they're passing on your hors d'oeuvres. I'm like, I could do that all night. I don't need a big plate. But for me, the best thing was the stuffed mushrooms that they would make. I mean, I would love that. And of course, you spread it out. It's like a party when the family would come. So you'd have appetizers on the table at all times, and people would be grabbing something here and something there, and then they'd sit down and do the formal dinner. But it's for sure. For me, it was the stuffed mushrooms. I love those.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We've got a winner, stuffed mushrooms. I also wrote down stuffed mushrooms as my favorite.
I thought he said something about Jeff Lynne.
No, the bell will have a different.
Jeff Lynne invented stuffed mushrooms.
He did not, but there's nothing better than these small mushrooms with chopped sausage, some breadcrumbs, some seasoning. You fill each one, you put them in the oven.
Really good.
It gets that sausage gets nice and crispy. The mushrooms get nice and soft. And
and everybody does it a little different, it's kind of like stuffing, I mean, it's little ingredients,
like a stuffed clam, kind of like a stuffed clam, but in a mushroom, but with sausage instead of clams, right? So you have that kind of breadcrumb based stuffing and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and
never been a fan of mushrooms.
Yeah,
that sounds delicious though.
You could choke down a mushroom that way because of the stuffing,
Right. Yeah.
If you're not a mushroom fan, but
sure.
not these big honking mushrooms, but
the little ones. That's enough to satisfy your appetite. Hence appetizers. Before the main entree. You know,
Was this Latin class?
Yeah, he's giving us the. He's giving us the
Oh, that's what
genealogy
you
of-
dressed up
Professor.
for.
It's Professor.
Professor
Leshi.
Leshi with the etymology of the word appetizer.
Aboa Masamat. How they do?
So yeah, you know what? Those are all classics. You know, I almost went with the chicken soup too because my dad would make a chicken soup, but he would make these. He would get a French bread. The soup was like the side thing. My dad would get a French bread and cut it up into small slices, dredge it in egg and in like garlic powder and stuff like that, and fry them. So they were like little French toasts, but they were savory.
Nice.
And they would use that to dip it into the soup, and I would just eat those. I'll be like, skip the soup, just give me like the little breads.
Right.
Well, like the bruschetta. You guys ever have bruschetta? Like,
yes.
Like nice bread with like tomatoes. I mean, that's a nice appetizer too.
That is.
I like how Nick just explained bruschetta to us.
You know, it's like bread with like little tomatoes and maybe. No,
I just like that you thought we didn't know what bruschetta was.
Nick is in teacher mode tonight, so we're all going to get a Thanksgiving education.
How did you guys eat? Other than Sean, how did you guys eat your meals?
We chew them
with my mouth.
Like, weren't you full?
No, because it's like
I just said, like I said, that's a war. It's a Thanksgiving. That's what Thanksgiving is how much can you put your body through? How much can you keep packing in?
And you usually don't have like
to the end.
It's almost like you need to fast a couple of days before. And sometimes I would do that. I would purposely not eat.
Stomachs. That actually defeats the whole purpose. Because you get full quicker.
I mean, but when you're a kid, you don't think of these things. So who But that it seemed to work at the time. I don't know, but so. Not so much today. But
now you guys are popping Tums. You got
right.
Yeah. We need some exterior.
You wearing elastic pants on.
Gas X. But okay, let's move on. So we've got our first course, and those are all great ones. And listen, if you're listening to us, hit us up on social media at 3324 Podcast on Facebook. Let us know, or Instagram. Let us know what some of your favorite side or pre-gaming dishes were. You call them appetizers. Some people just had them out. Like when you walked in the door, the stuff was there. Some families, like with the stuffed mushrooms, we would be sitting down and those would come out before the turkey, it kind of sitting. So let us know on social media what are some of your favorite appetizers are from the Latin aperitivato. Is that right, Nick?
Close, I guess. Yeah.
So sides. Okay, let's move on to sides, Eric. So we agreed. Actually, if you want to use mashed potatoes and stuffing, those are open to use. But what the turkey's on the plate. So now the decision is what two other items are going to complement this dish for you?
For me?
Yes. What are they? What are your two that are going to complement that turkey?
Well, the stuffing, of course, but it's the stuffing made with sage flavored sausage.
Nice.
Wow.
You cook up, you get it, and it's very easy. I mean, we're not talking homemade here. I don't soak the bread and all that kind of stuff. Pepperidge Farm. Not stovetop, but the Pepperidge Farm, you saute some onion and butter and celery, and then you cook up the sausage. Like you get the Jimmy Dean or the Jones sausage with, a sage flavored, and then you just mix it all together. And it's always been a staple in our household. So I've learned to make that, and that's, and then of course my mashed potatoes is my mom's recipe, which is a cream cheese and sour cream.
Interesting.
Mashed potatoes. So it's like, but I like you, Dean. I use the mixer.
Yeah. And
you get a block of the Philadelphia cream cheese. You just put the whole block in there, an 8-ounce tub of sour cream. Wow. And the potatoes, and you just mix it all together. It's really nice and creamy, has a nice flavor to it. It's kind of a sweet but savory flavor, and you add some salt and pepper and butter. It's a big hit everywhere I go. I always make it, and everybody loves them.
Let me ask you: does everybody get a business card for urgent care? with the plate with the mashed potato, do you give them like the urgent care?
Yeah.
Like if you need to get up, it's okay. I know why.
Highest cholesterol win.
That is decadent.
There's no. We go full force.
Yeah, you're not playing.
We're not playing. We're clogging arteries.
You're clogging.
Yep.
Christy, what is your antidote?
Okay.
to that. The turkey's on the plate, so that's done.
So
we didn't even get to white meat or dark meat, actually.
I'm a simple creature. I'm certainly not a foodie because I don't think you need to train for Thanksgiving. And I have a dairy allergy, so I would die at Nick's table. I mean, at Eric's table. So stuffing, and when I was a kid, it was in the bird. I'm a fan of stuffing in the bird.
Ooh, there's a lot of controversy about that.
It's not controversial. It's the correct way.
Hence stuffing.
Yes, and that's why they call
stuff it in the bird.
So the stuffing in the bird. So as long as it's that way, that would be it. And then turnips.
Ooh,
what?
So hear me out.
Nick's face is like turnips here.
No, okay. So
maybe if you're like
Nanny would make turnips in the pressure cooker, and back in the day, a pressure cooker was a very dangerous appliance. You would have to time it, wait for the thing to spin, and then wait for it to stop. Or I had one that exploded because I guess I didn't wait long enough. Now you have Instant Pots, which is what I use. But in the pressure cooker, turnips. Even my mom's coming Thursday. She's making me turnips. Like, I love turnips. And if I told you what third place was, it was carrots in the pressure cooker. So I'm very boring. Like, not decadent. I'm not a decadent person.
Wow. What did your parents use to punish you with? Then you're going to eat this brownie. Because
they gave me milk. So here's some milk. And
turnips. I want turnips. Like what's the matter with this kid?
Every year I would look forward to it. We had. So my mother's side, her mother was German, Irish, and that. So it was a very like a German type of Thanksgiving. So it was a lot of fresh vegetables, and we had mashed potatoes. But my plate would be packed with turnips and carrots and green beans. What do you want? All right,
that explains a lot.
I didn't have to go to urgent care with Eric's family.
True that. All right, so you're saying turnips and then
stuffing in the bird.
And stuffing. In the bird stuffing, which again, there was some controversy about, is that sanitary or is it healthy, or
cook it enough?
From that?
Yeah, you got to cook it.
Even despite cooking, you got to make sure cook it long enough.
That's exactly.
I feel like Nick and I have an alliance here.
I think that's exactly why my mom never put the stuffing in the turkey, because she was so,
But she was okay with the brick of cream cheese and the potato.
Because the bird took long enough, because she would always get a bird that was way too big, and it always took forever to cook. And she never stuffed it, and it was like, why didn't you put the stuffing in it? Because I don't like putting it in there, and it's dirty. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Eric's mom's like, I won't give you salmonella, but God damn it, I'm going to give you a heart attack.
That's it. Nick, what do you got? Turkey's on the plate by itself. It needs two partners. It needs two companions.
The traditional stuff that Eric mentioned, I mean, that's all me. Stuffing in the bird and mashed potatoes. And just like my mom used to make, she'd make it cheesy too. So I thought we were the only ones. But I love that. But if I had to go with something different, when I went to my mother-in-law, she would make this great green bean casserole, which was really good. Yeah. So I love that. Yep. And then
is that the one with the almonds or no?
She has almonds in it, I believe so. Okay. Yeah, and it's really good, really good.
That was a thing for a while, like green beans and almonds was like a Betty Crocker, like all of a sudden, like everyone started making that.
Yeah,
I would put almonds in asparagus.
Nice,
not asparagus. I'm sorry, Brussels sprouts.
But
Brussels
asparagus
sprouts
is
with almonds and bacon, little bacon bits. Yeah. Cool. So that was nice. Gave it a nice flavor.
And then the other thing, like I guess, mashed potatoes have to have gravy on it and everything, but so the gravy would also go on the turkey, but cranberries, not the cranberry sauce from a jar, which people like, the kind of wiggly stuff, but the real cranberries goes with the turkey. You can't have a Thanksgiving dinner without that, in my opinion.
Not the gelatinous cranberry with the lines after they take.
But I know,
I like that.
That's another controversy, because people love that versus the original. Like I love
it. I love that, but I can't. I don't like real cranberries. I don't know.
I love real cranberries.
First of all, quick poll: cranberries, yes. Sean, quick.
No.
Cranberries, no. Nick, yes. Cranberries.
Absolutely.
Christy,
absolutely.
No. Eric,
cranberry sauce.
cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce.
Yeah, it's got to be the real cranberries with the sauce.
But now I
don't like the texture of real cranberries. That's what it is. You know, so it's like,
but
you get that.
It tastes so amazing with cranberry sauce. Like I don't,
Okay, so you get the green bean casserole.
Yep.
And
cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce, or the authentic.
Correct.
Not the ocean spray can that you push out.
Exactly.
Push out like the Play-Doh factory.
Exactly.
Sean, turkey's on the plate. What are you adding?
Turkey's on the plate. I'm definitely going mashed potatoes. Without question, mashed potatoes.
Grady style.
Stuffing I like only once a year. I'm not a stuffing guy other than Thanksgiving, and I kind of even like dilute it a little bit with my turkey bite and maybe some mash just to get a little of the flavor, because then it gets a little strong for me after a while, the stovetop. But I think I want to try making my own stuffing now that we're talking about all this. I would like to experiment with it, but I do the mashed potatoes, so that's a lot of work. So I don't know if I can pull off both of those.
Too much.
Well, the mashed potatoes got to boil. You need something to do.
Yeah, but it's true. That's true.
It's not that bad. You're really just frying up sausage and frying up some whatever kind of like some celery or some carrots and onions.
Sean, what I would say is if you're making this stuffing not in the bird, you make it the day before, because it's actually better the second day.
Yeah, just heat
it. Is. You're right.
You probably have a good point there.
Yeah. Even stuffing cold, I'll eat it.
No joke.
That's a good point.
It's like a Christmas story. Instead of turkey, you could have stuffing sandwiches, stuffing casserole, stuffing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now,
I
don't know if it's like a roll. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the crescent rolls, Pillsbury crescent roll. I don't know if that's a side. I like those on Thanksgiving. That's just a nice
bread
modifier.
It's a modifier. It's a modifier. Okay.
That's a modifier.
I thought so. That's why I didn't mention it.
That's on the side of the dish.
Got it.
It has its own plate.
I was recently talking about those, Sean, and I remember as a kid, like I ate them, but they're so greasy and buttery.
They are buttery.
Yeah, that's why they're
great. That's part of the goodness.
Yeah.
What's
flaky, buttery goodness.
Are you guys the kind that go to Thanksgiving dinner and start being like, that's a little too much, for my weight. I can't eat this,
No,
I just have so many food intolerances. I just don't eat it.
All right, that's understandable.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's quite all right. No, there's a new. It's not new, but I had one this past week. Was a Thanksgiving sandwich, which you can get at certain delicatessens, and it is turkey, stuffing, some cranberry sauce, and mayonnaise on it. So it's like eating the whole plate.
How does mayonnaise fit into this?
Just for some flavor,
little condiment.
Flavor?
Yeah, gravy would be too messy. It would be like
the stuffing.
I used to do it.
Turkey
and
used to do a
nice Thanksgiving sandwich. It
works
like that.
It works. So my two, I would normally go with mashed potatoes and stuffing, and that's I said, okay, let's just kind of take those off. What would I have if I went to someone's house and they said, we don't serve that here?
Oof.
I'd say I'm at the wrong house.
Right.
I'm going to Nathan's. I'm going to play defender. Wait, this is in 83.
Yeah.
All right. Flashback. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with sweet potatoes or yams, whatever you want to call it. Now, there is some controversy about that too, because for me, that means like they're in like a sweet kind of like a brown sugar sauce.
Right.
It wasn't until I became aware of Boston Market, or first one was Boston Chicken.
Yep.
Of like a layer of marshmallows on top of it, where it's like this sweet dessert thing. I'm just talking like yams or sweet potatoes, just in a glaze. But a lot of people make that sweet potato, like they whip the sweet potatoes, right? And then they cover it with marshmallows and they'll throw that in the oven and it gets all melty. But that's more like a dessert. I mean,
it could be. Yeah.
I can't see eating that and then going for dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I think Eric mentioned it, or maybe Nick did. And I tried this. I forgot where. I think I may have seen it on Food Network, and I tried it a couple of years ago. I'm not a big Brussels sprout fan. They're just bitter to me. Like certain people, certain things.
Yeah.
But if you cook a package of bacon first, and then you throw the Brussels sprouts into that bacon.
Yeah, that's what Eric said. Nice.
That's it.
And you toss all that, and then you throw those in the oven, and they cook in the bacon grease.
Nice and
you're on a different level.
That bitterness with
the
bacon,
bitterness goes away. Well, the bitterness of the Brussels sprout goes away too.
It really meshes together, and it's a really nice flavor.
You're on a different level.
It's like
those Brussels sprouts get crispy.
It's the trick you do when you're a parent to get kids to eat the broccoli. You drown it in cheese, so you like kind of cover up the nasty taste with like something that tastes good.
So what I'm getting from all of you is Thanksgiving is taking a very healthy food and turning it,
destroying it,
absolutely,
completely unhealthy,
laying waste to it.
It's the one day
a potato by itself is healthy. It's a healthy, it's a good starch, but
not good enough.
Drown it in
butter.
Not for Thanksgiving.
Mushrooms good, but we're gonna stuff it.
I'm thinking of like you guys are everybody loves Raymond fans.
Yeah.
Do we have any?
Yeah, well, I watch
okay.
it.
There's that one episode where Marie makes the healthy dinner, the tofu turkey, and it's like I'm this is one of my pet peeves, by the way, with food and movies and shows. She makes this tofu turkey, and then she's got a whole big bowl of just broccoli and cauliflower, and then she has another bowl of just broccoli, and then another bowl of just cauliflower, and it's just vegetable, like raw, like just steamed vegetables, and that's it. And of course, the rest of the family is just aghast because they want that traditional unhealthy dinner. So Raymond orders the food from a restaurant, and by midnight, they make it such a big deal about it. But then everybody comes back to his house later on, and they're all eating the bad food. So Thanksgiving is traditionally for me, that's what it's about, man. That's like
the opportunity.
You're going off the rails for a day. That's
you know what, but the irony of that is, for me, Thanksgiving was always my favorite holiday growing up, and it was because of the food. But the food was relatively healthy, like the turnips, the green beans, the carrots. I would eat mashed potatoes. The stuffing certainly probably wasn't, it was healthy, but it wasn't like that healthy. But my meal was predominantly healthier fare, and it's just because that's my palate. It's not because I'm trying to be difficult. It's just that's the food I like. I never liked this heavy type of food. Like even as an Italian, like I never got like primaveras or penne vodka or fettuccine alfredo. Like I was like, it's too much. It's too heavy. Like I just don't.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm dealing with kind of something, as a dad, my youngest son, Jacob, he's very finicky and he can't eat. He doesn't like a lot of stuff. He doesn't like meat. So I have to make like a vegetable version of the stuffing just for him, and he just likes green beans. So he's very picky, but he's also very health conscious at the same time.
That's actually not a bad thing.
I know a bad thing at all. No.
I guess it's a pain in the ass at times when you're just trying to make one meal. But
he should be teaching, setting the example. Is what he's doing.
But I'm making sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving, but I'm cutting them up. I do cinnamon. I might put a little maple syrup on it for sweetness, but like it's gonna be like I'm not using pounds of butter. I just I can't have it.
No.
So
no,
you don't know what you're missing.
I try not to. I tried to cut back, but it's so easy to do though. It's because you want that flavor. It just you try to find those other options. It's a lot of work.
Sean, a lot of work. Alcohol on Thanksgiving? Do you drink?
I don't drink.
Glass of wine with the meal?
I'm not a wine guy. I don't like wine, believe it or not.
No? Okay.
I have to have wine with the meal.
I like a glass of iced tea, believe it or not. That's my go-to drink. I'm always drinking iced tea, which is probably not good for you either, but
probably better for you than alcohol.
Yeah.
Christy, alcohol on Thanksgiving?
Now or previously, no.
In general,
my mother and brother are coming over, so yeah.
Okay. I usually
a wine. It would be wine.
Drinker, I think I kind of get in the mood to have like a glass of wine with the meal, not to slug it down, but just to kind of. I feel more kind of like, okay, like let me have some alcohol. Nick, do you drink on Thanksgiving?
Are you there? Mm-hmm.
I traditionally white wine. It has to be either like a Moscato, which I don't like. I don't like sweet wines, but that goes with the meal.
Yeah, it's more of a dessert.
Or a nice crisp Pinot Grigio, or perhaps a Sauvignon Blanc, which is
wow.
A little heartier.
White
Chardonnay,
wine,
like a buttery Chardonnay, is a little too heavy because like
just got a sommelier.
Because that that really puts it over the top. But if you're eating a lot of rich foods, but I think cut it in the middle, I think, is the nice deal breaker.
You
right there.
You don't like red with it? White goes better with that?
White.
Really?
White with turkey. Yep.
I just shop by price.
Pinot Noir probably would be the only red wine.
Red wine I drink because the others are too heavy. Because
white wines.
Cab is way too heavy for me. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we get to dessert, is there a waiting, Sean? Is there a waiting period at your family at your house? Like okay, the gorging is done, right? It's kind of like okay, everyone's kind of. And I think I at least in my family, at different intervals.
Right.
I'm usually the first to get up. I'm like, I'm done. I got to get to the couch. And then there's still people that are still like eating and there's like different waves of people that eventually leave.
Mm-hmm.
How long after the meal does dessert start?
Well,
is it hours? Is everybody waiting
for
everything
not
to
hours.
settle in?
I would say that we clear the table, get things off the table, the food off the table, pack up, like who's taking what home. Mm-hmm. That goes down, and then kind of rest and hang out a little bit, and then because sometimes I go somewhere else for dessert as well, but I do have a little bit of dessert at my mom's house, so that kind of we have to expedite the whole process. But
hurry up, Sean's got to leave.
Yeah, right. I would say like a good hour, like after all the cleaning up and the chatting and stuff, and then kind of slowly getting the desserts on the table. Mm-hmm. Everybody comes together and we kind of eat. I got to eat quickly and kind of just jet off to my wife's aunt's house. But my wife's aunt, they wait. It's a long time. Then they put the nuts out. Then there's intervals of like
it's a whole separate occurrence. Dessert.
Exactly,
it's like a whole other.
So I would go
meal.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Christy.
Very similar to Sean. We would eat, and then it's cleanup time. So get all the if you're using a dishwasher, what you're washing, pots and pans, getting the food away, divvying up who's taking what leftovers. So once that's done, and just growing up, typically that was the women were in the kitchen doing that, and you'd often have to go wake the men up who were fell asleep on the couch already. That coffee was ready and dessert. But yeah, we would clean up, and then so you would probably get a good hour in, which is not bad, because otherwise you're typically just going right into it. And it's too soon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It is. Yeah.
Eric, what about you? You guys are eating late anyway, so what was dessert?
Yeah. Well, traditional. I mean, it's the thing. It's like I never had to do that experience where you have to go to multiple places to visit, this section of family or whatever. But luckily, everybody was together. But it was a good couple of hours. We would wait. We would probably like 9-10 o'clock at night if we. That's when the dessert would start coming out. The tea, the cakes, the cookies. All that. It was a whole. We probably had more dessert stuff as far as like things to pick on than we did appetizers.
Well, I think it's easy. I think it's easier for guests to. Yeah, I'll bring a pie.
Yeah.
Right. Or I'll bring some cake.
Right.
Before you know it, there's 8 pies, 5 pounds of cookies.
Oh, yeah.
And how come nobody wants it? How come no one touched it? It's like, because there's 5 different pies. I can't, I can't do them all.
Right. And then
as much as I would want to.
Of course, feel guilty into eating it.
Yeah.
Well, of course, people like my people are like my brother are like, oh, we got to wait for dessert, and he wants to eat it right away, like right after dinner. It's like, no, you got to let things settle a bit. Yeah, you got to digest
down a little bit. Let the blood pressure go down. Let the settling in.
Dare I say, I don't want to get too whatever, but sometimes you got to clear the palate as well.
There you
go. But it's always a nice cap off to the evening. Is just, again, you're sitting around and everybody comes back to the table together again, and you're having that last course, and it's
kind of like a post game report.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of tired. Sean, coffee at least at dessert, or no?
I'm not a coffee guy, so I'm like milk. I'm drinking milk with dessert.
Drinking milk with dessert.
I got that Got Milk commercial. It's probably the most effective campaign ever because I drank more milk. Sorry, Chris, I know your dairy issue, but that was like in my head, like milk. Gotta have milk with the dessert. So
Sean had my
Christy,
milk.
Coffee?
I have your milk.
Yeah, coffee or now that I'm older, tea, because if I drink coffee too late, it keeps me up. But yeah, it would now it would be tea, but I would have coffee. And Nanny's coffee was Eric, you'd be cleaning your palate. I don't know what the hell she put in it, but it's like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of we would wait a few hours. You would have to.
Yeah.
Just because of the carnage that happened before getting it,
yeah.
letting everything settle down, kind of like you said, sit around and kind of that's like the hangout, like getting the meal out of the way was like the thing. It was like get the meal out of the way, then everybody come and sit down. And let me ask you this before we get to the desserts, Sean. Football, TV, games with the family, or sleep? After the meal.
Are you talking about what I want to do? What happens?
Give me a little bit of everything.
For most part, it was football for me. I enjoy football on Thanksgiving. I got into that when I was a kid. At my great uncle's house, we'd watch the game downstairs, and so football's kind of it's like comfort food for me on Thanksgiving. I do enjoy games, the family. If the games break out, I'm in. I'm in. I'll leave the football game for the games.
Yeah, I think football is kind of like having the Yule log on during the holidays if you celebrate Christmas. Like you walk into someone's house and like the channel is set to the game, even if the game's not started yet, the pregame or the parade is ending, and then it just goes into the football, and that's just what's on in the background, even while you're eating. Like the TV's on and the game is on, and people,
Right.
what's going on? Like even if you're not a football fan, you're kind of brought up and brought into it of watching it. So, Christy, what about you? Football, TV, games with the family, or sleep?
Keeping with from my childhood, football was on in the living room. Again, most of the men were sleeping, and then my great grandmother and me and even maybe one or two of my brothers, or some of us would go into the dining room and play like 500 card rummy, because my great grandmother loved playing cards, so we'd play cards.
Yeah. Eric?
Yeah, I mean, before dinner, I'm not a sports nut, but of course it was a house divided. So we had various TVs. So my brother, he's a sports nut. Of course, he was watching football in the room. But when it came to dinner, the TV wasn't on.
Oh no, the TV wasn't on. We were in the room with the TV.
And that was the only time. Thanksgiving and Christmas were the only, or maybe Easter, were the only times that we actually used the dining room in our house. So it's the big table with the dividers. You pull the extenders out and the whole bit. Big ritual, but yeah, we never had a TV going during dinner. But then after dinner, I mean, it was, if the game was on, my brother would be sitting at the kitchen table watching the game, or we would just be talking.
It's nice.
It's nice to. It's
you kind of
the only time where the family is really conversing and just talking about memories, and it's always the go-to time to do that. Especially people we've lost, and so. But
yeah, I think football is kind of like I said, it's kind of the national thing. A trivia question: What team has played almost every Thanksgiving Day?
Oh, I think I know this. Wait,
Sean had his hand up first,
but he's a man. Christy, he's gonna know.
No, go, Christy. Go.
Is it the Cowboys?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anybody else? The Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions are traditionally the team that plays.
Really?
Is playing.
Why is that?
I don't know if it's how it started or if it was just a coincidence that's the way it landed, but now it's become a thing that the Lions play on.
And the Cowboys do play on Thanksgiving as well.
They have,
but not every Thanksgiving.
But
I think as of late it's been pretty consistent.
Traditionally, the Lions.
But the Lions have been the Lions predate the Cowboys.
I would have said Green Bay Packers.
Packers.
Yeah.
All right, we're on to desserts. So the spread is there. People brought stuff or made stuff or went to Costco or A&P, depending on what decade we're talking about, and bought something or made something. Christy, 2 desserts.
2 desserts.
Yeah, 2 desserts.
Again, not anything I would eat now. Remember the Jell-O pudding in the box? You can make chocolate pudding. Yeah. Was it Mighty Fine?
Mighty Fine. Yeah,
Mighty Fine. Nanny would make the Mighty Fine. So when you get to the house, you'd open the refrigerator, and she had, would pre-make. She had all these little individual cups of chocolate pudding, and then she had the Ready Whip
with the skin on them.
Yeah, so you would have to take you'd have and there'd be a can of Ready Whip and a container of Cool Whip. I of course hated Ready Whip and loved Cool Whip.
Choose your weapon.
No, I'm a Ready Whip guy.
I know. I never liked it. Cool Whip probably because it wasn't real dairy and I could tolerate it to some degree.
But Cool Whip is just
garbage. I could have eaten.
Just garbage.
Yeah, I just needed a spoon.
I could just eat that out of the container.
I literally like that. I would put a ton of Cool Whip on top of it.
There's another one of Sean's faces that I can't forget.
Yeah, Cool Whip.
Cool Whip is fine. Right. I don't mind it, but
you guys are going gaga over fried turkey and cream cheese and things. So, and yeah, that was really. And then it was an Entenmann's fest. I don't like pie. I think pie is overrated. I think it's having an identity crisis. So I never liked the coconut custard or the pumpkin. Cookies. So we would inevitably have cookies from the Italian bakery. Cookies, just, and I can't give you a specific, but any of those like cookies, I would eat. So chocolate pudding and cookies.
Nice, yeah, the real deal.
Assorted cookie tray. Eric. Dessert.
Oh goodness!
It's stroke of midnight. The Cooper household, and dessert's coming.
My mom would always make, and you could either eat it for dessert or you could have it with the meal because it was a sort of a very sort of sweet and savory kind of flavor. But she would make ambrosia, which was if you don't know what ambrosia is, it's mandarin oranges with marshmallow, with shredded coconut, and sour cream, and you whip it up, and it's
like
delicious.
A salad.
It's delicious, and you could either eat it with the meal, like if you're not a cranberry sauce fan, you'd have the ambrosia instead, or both. But typically I would save it for dessert. I would have a nice little bowl of that with a piece of cake, and my mom used to make this pies are great. I prefer apple over pumpkin. I think pumpkin pie is completely overrated.
Agreed.
But
100%.
I would prefer like a sweet potato pie, like Dean, like you mentioned before, a sweet potato pie with homemade whipped cream. Yeah, that's nice. But my mom used to make bundt cakes, and she doesn't really do that anymore. But she made like this really great apple bundt cake, and it was like just the little chunks of apple in it. It was so moist and so delicious. I miss that. I'm trying to get her to do it this year, but that was one of my favorite desserts.
Does your mom listen to the podcast?
No. Well, she doesn't even know what a podcast is.
There you go.
I was going to say, send her at least send her the clip. I miss it.
There's a franchise up here in New York and Connecticut called Nothing Bundt Cakes. And guess what? Guess what the only thing they make is?
Bundt cakes.
Bundt cakes.
Bundt cakes. She used to make a mean carrot cake with walnuts.
There's one on Central Avenue in White Plains, and then there's one in Connecticut as well. So really good stuff. So ambrosia and a bundt cake?
I like a nice piece of cake. Yeah. I prefer that over pie. I do like pie, but I do prefer a nice cake if it's made right.
They're not the sponsor, but By the Way Bakery makes a killer little bundt cakes, and are gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and good for people like me. And they're delicious. Yeah, and by the way, they're free of all the allergens.
There you go. See that?
My plug.
Clever.
Nice.
Clever. All right, Sean. The home stretch.
Yeah,
the pots are cleaned, or you're not cleaning them.
I clean some. I'm not above cleaning.
Sean strikes me. Sean strikes me as a helper.
I will help, because otherwise I will catch hell for not helping.
So you finally get to your hands have unpruned from washing everything. They finally dried out.
Yep.
And now it's time to dessert. What's it gonna be?
I'm it's these. We go to my wife's aunt's house, and I think she gets them pretty much for the girls, but I like them. They're like these glazed bakery cookies that like they're shape of a turkey, and they've got like that bakery cookie glaze on it. Like
I know.
They're so good. I just keep popping those things. I'm like looking around. Is anybody seeing how many of these I'm eating? I mean, they're so good. But otherwise, I like, my aunt used to make, my great aunt friend would make like a cheesecake or she'd always make some kind of cake. And I always looked forward to what she would, come up with. So I can go for a piece of cheesecake back in the day, but now it's more, I'm all about the cookies. Cookies to me they're just, you don't realize, like sometimes you get a big piece of cake or pie in front of you and you're just like, I can't do this. But like with the
cookies are dangerous.
You're dangerous. You can pop them and you don't, you can kind of manage it a little bit better than you can a piece of cake. You don't feel like compelled to eat a whole piece of something.
And if you find them early enough, if you know exactly where they are, you're popping them all day. You're not even waiting for dessert.
Yes.
If you know if they're where they're hiding the cookies, you break them out.
First, you could slide out the ones that you like.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, like take them out. Like take just those and get them out.
Yeah,
Cookies the perfect dessert
with the turkey cookies.
Yeah,
the turkey flavored but turkey shaped.
The bakery cookies
and some nice cheesecake.
Yeah,
that's a good combo. I'm not against pies. I enjoy pie. Pumpkin pie and apple pie are kind of played out. So I kind of, I thought about what other types. Cherry pie, but a nice slice of pecan pie.
Okay.
Because it's got the nuts, so it's got some savoriness to it. Yeah. But it's also sweet, and it's not that heavy. It's not as heavy as a cheesecake or a slice of apple pie or one of those other ones. You can kind of, it's not a thick pie, so it's kind of like, okay, pecan pie, you're kind of getting some of the nuts in there that maybe you didn't eat during the day, because usually everyone's got the bowl out there with the nutcracker. Yep. My second one, along the lines of the cookies, but a mini pastry tray.
There you go.
The mini pastries. For the same reason that Sean said, is you can kind of just be grabbing mini pastries. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like you had like 4 big pastries.
Right.
It's like, I just had the mini eclair. I had the mini.
You feel better about yourself. You don't feel as guilty.
I have a question. Who eats more dinner later on that night after dessert? Like you go home, maybe you have some. Does anybody go for like?
When I was a kid, I used to. There'd be that extra. Nowadays, it's like I can't.
I always wait for it next day. Next day is.
I sometimes can go. Yeah, sometimes
I used to do that when I was younger. It was kind of like, get some more, have some cold stuffing. My father would cut up.
That's what you would do.
And I'm like, now it's like, I can't.
Yeah, I used to have. I would have cold stuffing or a couple of pieces of cold turkey, but now I'm
not built like that anymore.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking just like it's like a little, not like a whole second plate.
Yeah, just some snacking on it.
Some turkey. I like a leg, a nice. Turkey leg. Oh, I love that. Like later on, just some.
So we heat it up, or you have it cold?
No, I heat that up. I like to heat it up. Yeah.
So while since you brought the turkey back up, Sean, white or dark?
Turkey leg. I like that. I'm a leg
dark
guy.
Meat.
Yeah.
Eric?
I like both.
If there's only enough for one serving.
I prefer white.
White,
Christy?
Meat.
If I only have one, is white.
Dark, all the way.
I go with the leg all the way. Yeah.
Dark meat the whole way. The thigh. Oh, so good. All that stuff is just good.
Good stuff. One other question. Parade. Do you watch it? Yes or no?
No.
I used to.
I never
it was
got it.
On. That used to be part of the rotation, like the
it's early
schedule.
Enough. It's like
it's early enough, and you get that out of the way, and then it's March of the Wooden Soldiers, and then it's King Kong. again, I don't know where that came from, why that tradition started, but it was always a New York.
You talk about the original, or you talk about the
1933, that
right?
it was Son of Kong, Mighty Joe Young,
Channel 11.
Yeah. And then Miracle
that was
on 34th.
No, it was Channel 9 was King Kong, was
WOR?
WOR. PIX had March of the Wooden Soldiers, and I think they used to show other things too.
And then Miracle on 34th.
Miracle on
34th Street.
Yeah. Which is, the crossover film. It skirts the Thanksgiving / Christmas line. So,
Sean, did you watch the parade?
I watch it now with my girls. It wasn't like a big deal to me growing up, but now it's more a thing that I do.
Mitch Hedberg had a joke about parades. What was it like about going to a parade because it's like the same thing just happens? It's like
have you ever gone in person to see the parade?
I have not.
I went once.
Yeah, never again. Yeah, one of those. Yeah,
cold and crowded.
Cold and exactly.
That's like New Year's. I never went down to watch the ball drop. I have a TV. I can watch it from the warmth of my home.
Yeah. It's great, but it's an experience. You're kind of going for the experience, not because
you're going to say, "I did it. I'm never doing it again."
But you know what that parade really is the kickoff to the Christmas season.
Yeah, it used to be the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah, because who's the guest of honor? Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. Yeah,
he closes out the deal.
That's right.
He closes the deal.
He's the closer.
Does he still
sign the deal? Yeah. He wouldn't do it.
He's the last. Yeah, he's the last one out.
Yeah, and then they'll have the one in California. So then there'll be another parade right after that because of the time difference. There would be the. Yeah, but I forget what one they did in California, but they would do their Thanksgiving parade, right?
Who cares about that? I hate Christmas watching
wow, that was harsh.
I hate watching holiday things.
Other places.
Living in Florida for all those years, it was never in the spirit, never, because it was just
sunny.
It's just not the same. You need the cold weather. You need to have that gray sky, that look. Sometimes it's even raining. If you're lucky, if it's snowing, which is even better. But
snowing today in New York.
Yeah,
snowing. It just snowed.
Is it snowing right now?
I think it turned over to like a wintry mix and even a little.
So even before this episode will premiere before Thanksgiving, so we're already getting some of the winter weather there. So
Eric, I'm with you, but on December 26th, it could be spring.
Yeah.
I'm done with
winter. Yeah, you're right.
I'm done with snow the day. Yeah. The day after.
Yeah, I could do without like January, February. Yeah.
It's a nuisance.
Somebody once said to me, winter should be a destination, not a season. I agree.
I like it.
Go to winter.
Yeah, that's
and then come back.
There you go. Okay.
I could do all three. I could do the other 3 seasons. I'm good with that. I like fall. I like spring. I like summer.
Yeah.
But you can't appreciate it without that. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can.
When it's freezing cold. When it's freezing cold in December and January, you're like, oh, I wish it was July. But then this past July, every day was 90.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
I'd never said I wish it's January, February. I assure you of that.
No, I never say that, but I'm like, I can't wait for autumn to come.
I think spring and fall are the two, as far as comfort goes, livable weather.
Well,
those are the 2 best seasons.
They have certain smells and feels to them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So the summer has certain smells: barbecue, charcoal, burgers.
True, but
winter
if it's really humid out, and do you really want to barbecue? I don't. I want to stay inside.
Yeah, that's true.
Break out the Foreman grill.
True that. True.
Yeah.
You still got a Foreman grill? Does it still work?
Oh yeah, use it all the time. Cooking burger, if I just want a burger or something or a hot dog.
I used to love that thing, but I used it so much it kind of crapped out.
You can use an air fryer now. It would do the same thing.
Yeah, the best burgers you can make is in an air fryer.
Air fryers are great. You have an air fryer,
and it's done. And
my toaster oven doubles as an air fryer, so I only use it to crisp up my fries.
The air fryer is. I love the air fryer.
Make a burger in the air fryer. It's incredible.
I don't make a burger in it, vegetables or
I'm intrigued.
Wings. I make chicken wings, no oil, like literally the seasoning, and they're so crispy.
They got to be crispy.
You do a burger for 11 minutes.
Wings,
11 minutes, 350 degrees.
French fries. I make French fries. Again, no oil. It's great. Air fryer. You need to check out the air fryer.
I think
Screw
I'll
the
put that on my
forming
Christmas
grill.
list this year.
And then fry a turkey. That's the real question.
Probably, but just
yeah.
one like
But I'm actually
like
doing the turkey in the Instant Pot. You can do the turkey.
How
in the
big is your
Instant Pot.
turkey, or how big is your Instant Pot? I guess.
Well, I'm just making a breast. I'm not. It's only 4 of us, so I'm just doing the breast. So you can't come because I have no legs.
Yeah,
I'm legless.
You don't need a full turkey.
You got to get a leg. You can get some legs.
Turkey breasts are really traditionally really juicy, and if that's all you like is the white meat.
And the really Instant Pot, I did it during the pandemic. Yep. Like when we didn't go anywhere, I did it. It's really. I mean, you don't even need a knife. Like it's like butter.
Nice. It falls apart.
Yeah.
Cool. Let us know on social media. What are some of yours? We've laid out our plates. We've given you the appetizer. We've given you some sides, and we've given you some desserts as well. Hit us up on social media at 3324 podcast on Instagram or Facebook, and let us know as we wrap up. I think we're gonna let everybody go to the couch now that we've had our meal. I think it's time for all of us to kind of rub our bellies and burp or whatever we need to do, fall asleep, watch TV, whatever it is we do on Thanksgiving. We're wishing everybody that's listening a happy Thanksgiving. It's a time for family and for friends. If you're traveling, travel safe, of course. Absolutely. But yeah, there's a lot of great memories that come with gathering around with friends and families. And I was happy that Sean and Christy and Nick were able to join us and share those memories as well, right, Eric?
Absolutely.
Thank you for having
me. And it's always a pleasure, guys. And and it's important. Family's important. We need this time. We do. So
no one goes shopping. All. No one goes shopping on Thanksgiving.
Nah, it's not fun. So that's going to do it for this episode of the 3324 podcast. Christy, we're done.
I was just going to say, it also means that the people working have to work and they can't be with their families.
That's true.
True. We're thinking of you.
True that.
Yep.
We're thinking of you, but we're here on the evening before Thanksgiving, giving you our plates. So we're working hard for you, but we're going to take off tomorrow. So we're going to be off on Thanksgiving. So if you're out there, again, have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. For Christy, for Sean, and for Eric, this has been Dean, thanking you for spending time with us, and have yourselves a happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
You've been listening to the 3324 podcast with Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber. You can find us on your favorite podcast provider, so please like, subscribe, and rate to become a part of the 3324 family. Your feedback is important, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at 3324 podcast and on Twitter at 3324p to join the conversation.